All right, today I'm going to go over the interview question. Tell me about a time when you made a mistake, or tell me about your biggest failure. So, some general advice: you'll want to be honest. Everybody makes mistakes, and the hiring manager wants to assess how self aware you are. I would also say pick an example that isn't core to the role you're applying for. You don't want to talk about a mistake that could cast doubt on your ability to do that job. You'll also want to avoid making excuses or placing the blame on other people. You want to take ownership of what happened and then be constructive. I always include a learning or something I would do differently if I approached that situation again in the future. Okay, so first example, one mistake I made early on in my career was when I was leading a project with a tight deadline. So we were creating a deck for a meeting, and I assigned slides out to different teammates to complete. And one of my coworkers was swamped and wasn't able to complete all of his slides. So there were a few slides missing from the final deliverable, which was disappointing, and my manager wasn't pleased, but it wasn't my coworker's fault. I actually should have done a better job managing the overall project. And that experience taught me the importance of accurately estimating project timelines, allocating resources appropriately, and checking in with team members along the way over the course of a project. Another key learning for me is how important it is to keep relevant stakeholders up to date on any hiccups or issues that might impact the timeline, which I could have avoided had I been checking in more regularly with my teammates. So since then, I've developed much better project management skills, and I use different tools to help me avoid those mistakes. And I'm now known as one of the best project managers at my current company, but it definitely didn't start out that way. For a second example, so I used to work in customer service, and the company used an order management system that I wasn't familiar with. Instead of admitting that I needed extra training, I tried to figure it out on my own and ended up mistakenly placing an order for a customer. So that customer received that order and they were billed for it. Understandably, the customer was upset and my supervisor was frustrated. I admitted it, I accepted full responsibility, and I went into solutions mode. I pitched an idea to my supervisor, which he approved, and so then I called the customer to explain the situation. They're going to get fully refunded, we're going to handle the return process, and they're going to get 20% off their next order for their troubles. They appreciated the phone call, and thankfully they were understanding of the mistake. And then from there, I got access to more training resources for that order management tool. And I did some training sessions with a more tenured member of the team just to ensure I fully understood the system so I could prevent another mistake like that. Key learning here: I was trying to be self-sufficient and didn't want to bother coworkers with too many questions, but I realize now you have to have a strong foundation before you can be independent. So I always ensure I ask those questions up front, and I'm fully trained on new tools or systems before getting into the action.